In this video, we will discuss dataset configuration settings versus default configuration settings. Reveal can open multiple datasets simultaneously. It is convenient to analyze them separately and compare the results. On the screen is a simulated measurement. When we open a previously saved dataset file, you can see that an additional new tab has been added to the screen where this data is displayed. Each of these datasets has its own settings configuration, such as the units displayed, the measurement wavelength operator, and the lateral units of the data, etc. Let's change the vertical units from nanometers to displayed fringes. You can see that changing these units does not change the original vertical waves units in the second dataset. These settings are dataset settings, which only affect the dataset of interest. There is another type of setting called default settings, which are stored within the program and used to initialize Reveal when the program starts. Just shown, we can change the dataset settings individually, such as changing units, but Reveal will have the same starting point defined by the default settings. To change the default settings, a setting function labeled default needs to be used. To accomplish this, open the Tools menu and select Default Configuration or Default Information or Default Units. Also shown under the Tools menu are the dataset-oriented settings, namely Dataset Configuration, Dataset Information, and Dataset Units. For an example, let's change the default units used when the program starts. Open the default units, click on Vertical, and then change from nanometers to display wavelength. When you click OK the next time the program starts, vertical units will be set to display wavelength. The same procedure applies to default configuration, which governs measurement wavelength, displayed wavelength, pixel size, and waves per fringe, etc. Please change these values cautiously. For instance, if you change the measurement wavelength, it has sweeping effects on the results as it is the basis of the vertical scaling as well as driving the phase shifting operation. There are also default unit settings and default information settings where values such as customer name, serial number, operator, etc. are stored. You might identify a particular interferometer as a default for quick reference. Once a program is started, these defaults are loaded. Once a new dataset is acquired, you can override these default values by setting the dataset values. Again, dataset settings can be accessed under the Tools menu, where dataset configuration, information, and units are listed. Or alternatively, via the Analysis Tools side panel, where dataset settings can be accessed under their respective tabs such as Measurement Information and Measurement Configuration, or here in the Quick menu for units, where angular, lateral, and height units can be changed. Remember, the values you change in the dataset neither change other displayed datasets nor future datasets via the default setting, just the dataset you are working on. This is the difference between dataset and default settings.